From my experience of being at football games and playing in football games especially, it's like stepping onto a stage. You lose yourself. You can be whatever you want to be, basically. That escape is what brings football and theatre together in a way. 1902 is about 4 wannabe football hooligans who want to see Hibs in the Scottish Cup final, and they borrow money from a local gangster to pay for these tickets. The Turnbulls, gangster family, and at the top, Peter Turnbull, Monterig's very own Don Curly Wurley. Popped his clogs a mere 2 weeks ago. OD'd on the Charlie. That's the way to go. And his laddie, Craig Turnbull, is back in town for the funeral. Freshly court-martialed and ready to step into his daddy's big shoes. Prick. Them being young, working-class laddies in Scotland with little opportunity, they don't have the money to pay the local gangster back. So it's all about them trying to find a way to get out of this situation and eventually see Hibs win the Scottish Cup. Being young in Scotland, it's every wee laddie's dream to be a football player. My dad actually played for Hibs in the 80s. I played in the academy when I was younger. If I had a time machine, that's the one thing I would do, is like go back in time and see my dad play at Easter Road. My dad would just take me to whoever was at home in Edinburgh, so like if it wasn't Tynecastle, we'd be here. When you're younger, it's a different experience to go on when you're older. So I think when you're older, you've got a bit more a clue about the actual football. Most of my memories are just walking to the stadium, being in there and just being immersed in that crowd and just being like, how big it is. Like when you go into a stadium, like actually how big it is really intimidating sometimes. It's very like going to the theatre actually. Like going to sit down and watch like a big West End production and you're sat and immersed in this audience and you're about to all experience the same thing in a completely different way, which is unique to each person. Football is really all some people have, which is beautiful in a lot of ways, but if that's your life investment, it can be really dark sometimes.
You've had multiple chances.
Everybody's busy.
Busy doing what, like? Selling coke?
You're much better, eh? Spending your days and nights in this shithole, scraping money from here, there and everywhere, making yourself vulnerable just to see a fucking football match!
And whose fault is that? I could have been doing anything instead of was stuck at home looking after mum.
I had the right to grieve in my own way.
You have no fucking right!
When the stakes are that high, like you'll do anything. Do you know what I mean? It becomes like a family. It becomes like, talk about the camaraderie of it, like you'll do anything to protect that. I wanted to create something that's real and authentic, so the way that the play is written phonetically how we all talk in Bonnyrigg. We perform it in a pub, which is a familiar environment for a lot of people that go to the football. For football culture, you're always in the pub before a game and after a game. What I love about the show is that I think that when they read that it's theatre, they come in still with a sort of an apprehension, with a preconception of what that's going to be. And you see as the show builds on, when they're laughing, it's like a little chuckle and they're deciding whether or not that's okay to laugh, and then by the end of it they're laughing and crying and a real experience. And it completely changes their mind on theatre, so they might even think twice about walking up to the Lyceum and sitting in and watching some Shakespeare. And I think that that is what we try and do.
Henderson steps up to take the corner. The postman floats in a delicious looking ball into the mixer. He heads it towards the Rangers goal.
It's Liam Henderson to the limit!
Yes! And 3 Rangers doing a fucking dancer!
What I want people to feel when they walk out of 1902 is that there is always something waiting for you on the other side, no matter how tough the situation gets. For the working class, there is people who care, and there is a voice for you, and we like to think that we try and be that voice.